Hello, gamers. So real quick. That's me. What? This is my dog, Destiny. She's a cute dog. Um, she's very. Anyways, you must be wondering where have I been? Yesterday and the day before that. I've been doing a lot of things, outside of YouTube. I also am a human being who goes to work. Don't we all go to work? Anyways, so today we're gonna be talking about how did PlayStation enter the market of video games and how they managed to create the PS1 and PlayStation 2 Prince of Persia. I know this is a good game. And all we know today is the PS5. So, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna do a lot of editing today. Anyways, today, I'll go. Anyways, so we should start in the very beginning when Sony was about to create their very first video game console. And it's not the Sony PlayStation as everyone thought. I think it's a prototype of what PlayStation wanted to create for like children, but the design for philosophy behind it was kinda not there. The controller didn't look like your average Nintendo controller like your Nintendo was overseeing the idea, said this is a bad idea and we're not gonna go through it. But the thing was, they saw Nintendo was being very successful with their video game consoles, and they said, what if we enter the video game market? And then that's when Nintendo and Sony was gonna have this partnership. Yes, that's right, Nintendo and Sony working together. Keep that in mind. Not everyone is on that same idea today, but back then, it was a marketing business strategy that could have worked out for the both of them if they both had good communication. And guess what Sony did? Not have good communications with Nintendo. So, anyways, I think in 1990, to say, oh hey, we should work together and make this new console. You want to know how that went? At first it sounds promising, but later on down the road, it did not work out well. It did not work out well for Sony and Nintendo because they both. I think Sony was the one who lacked in communication because they didn't tell them about the patenting of the.
Actually, I was wrong. It was actually the fear of Sony taking over the market. So yeah, that's why they failed.
The Sony PlayStation was gonna be like a CD slash cartridge player for like CD players and cartridge players. I guess the idea behind it was they're gonna use both to like play video games, and one of them could play like media discs while you're playing, I don't know, Nintendo games. I don't know. But it did not work out as planned because Nintendo started right behind Sony's back and went to Philips and said, you know what? Philips says we're in. And ever since the E3, I forgot what year was it. E3. What year? So I'll just say it. 1991. 1990 of December. 1990 of winter, actually. Winter, we'll stick with it. E3 happened. Well, an announcement of Sony. And Nintendo was the just shut up and backstab them in the back. Huh? As then Nintendo just slashed everything and said, you know what, we're doing our own thing. Peace out. And then Sony was there, just pondering, what the heck are we gonna do? Then they said, you want, let us cook. So they cooked. And boy, it took it took them 4 years. Let's just say it took them 4 years, well actually 3. And then they finally did it. Those son of a guns finally released the PlayStation. Well, not. They released the PlayStation 1 with the ability to play games, CD-ROM games. Like for example, DMX. This is so this is what their idea was. Hey, we can make CD games that Nintendo can't. And Nintendo was still stuck using cartridges like yes, I actually have a cartridge for this here. They were still using cartridges like they're outdated. Like PlayStation is outdated.
Wait, is this still recording?
Why? You ever seen a man ever cuddle with his puppy before? But, so, when the PS2 was launched, they were having the focus of having the PS2 to not just play games, but also play DVDs. So that's why DVD discs exist for games. But not just that, Sony was like, yeah. We're not just gonna allow you to play DVDs. We're also gonna allow you to play CDs. And you know what that also means? You're gonna play these games right here. With the black CDs and everything. Hold on, let me get the other here. Like, just like this black one right here. Moving on to the main point, but still, PlayStation was like, yeah, PlayStation 2 is gonna be more powerful, and also you can play PS1 games with the benefit of having them probably look better on the PS2, and not just that, we're just gonna make a good console for everybody to have. And then Nintendo was like, shoot, we have it's in the disc market as well. And Xbox just came in and be like, yo, what up? Player price back then, back in the 2000s, they were expensive. Like more expensive than the PS2 itself. And and it was like a no-brainer. We'll get the big. But Nintendo was like, hey, guys. We are much more powerful in this market, and that's why we have. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about it. Came out. What a disaster of a console. Well, actually, before we get to the PlayStation 3, we need to talk about the very first handheld for Sony, the PlayStation Portable. I know y'all PlayStation gosh darn weeds out there is gonna correct me. That's not the first PlayStation Portable. I know, but it's the first one that is popular.
I I know.
Anyways, this is why Nintendo kind of felt the market because all that stuff. But the PSP came out for the competition of. They said, you know what, we're gonna compete with Nintendo in the handheld market. And it gone good. Not as successful as the Nintendo DS did. Not this model specifically, but you know, it outsold it. This console right here outsold the PSP, and the PSP was more powerful than this little toy of a device, but somehow this thing is actually outsold what the PSP was. And yeah, it did not go well. Like, if you look at the charts for the PSP versus the PSP versus the Nintendo DS, you see that Nintendo dominated in the handheld market, and no one could compete with it at the time, and probably still to this day. To be honest with you, like if we look at Steam Deck sales and Nintendo Switch 2 sales and Nintendo Switch 2 sales overall compared to anything else when it comes to like PS3 was announced. It had the boomerang controller. Everyone remember that? The boomerang controller? If you don't know, let's just say it's a good thing that they didn't release it. I'll show a picture up here. Editor, show the picture of the boomerang controller. Thank you. You are a beautiful editor. I know you look drained, but you're amazing, dog. Anyways, after the announcement of the boomerang controller, they announced how powerful the PS3 was. Yeah, this thing right here was more powerful and more features than the PS5 right now. Which is saying a lot more than needs to be said. And that's it. Until they strip all those features for the PS4 and be like, yeah, my PS4 is right here. And said, you know what? We need to back down, man. There's a reason why the PS3 was $600 when it was released. And $600 nowadays is like $1,600. Or thousands of dollars. And then Sony was like, oh no, we're taking back shots from our... I'm sorry. What? PlayStation were like, oh shoot! We need to change something, guys! Be exiting the vehicle market early. And then PlayStation were like, you know what, wait, hold on, we still can cook. I'll quit this thing. And they launched trailers for the PS3. It was like, hey, we're gonna release some games. Here goes the games for the PS3. Some of those games look terrible on the PS3. Let me tell you. God damn, when I say graphics were bad, they were kind of bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. And ever since I saw the PS3 for. Then Sony saw the error of their ways and said, oh shoot, we need to make our console cheaper, otherwise people are not going to buy it. So they put price cuts on that thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Now and then they could price cut after price cut until the PS3 Slim released. And the PS3 features was like, hey, you can have the ability to do all these things and more. You can have PS1 support and PS2 support. With the PS3 Slim, however, you only got PS1 support. Now the fat PS3 model I have does not play PS2, which kind of sucks. But it can play PS1 games, so that's why I got PS1 games. You're welcome. other than that, after the PS3 Slim released and priced at I think $300 at the time, it was like $600 to us right now, which is a lot of money, a lot of money. Let's just wrap this up. Yeah, after the price cuts and then after they released the Super Slim and everything else that happened, and after that, the Wii U was released. Xbox was releasing uh their Xbox One, which was kind of a failure of a console, and then PS4 came up. Be like, we got them. We learned from our mistakes, and we'll be focusing on our games. And also, they have Blu-ray support for PS3 and PS4. I forgot to mention that. But anyways, guys, yeah, sorry for the interruption, guys. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you for joining the yapping session. And yeah, it's great to see how things have changed over time. And that's pretty much it. That's all I want to say. I thank y'all for watching. Yeah, so guys, next time. Peace out.